Gentlemen, welcome back to my stream. We're here in Paris. No, but the woman who I'm talking to I think is French, or French adjacent. But she's here in London, but she comes from France. I'm playing Ryunosuke Naruhodo, the Great Ace Attorney. And it's about time that I start being a Great Ace Attorney. I'm pretty sure, if I'm doing my math correctly, I think we're on our third day of doing a live stream of part 1 of this investigation, which means we're moving at a real fucking snail's pace, which means for the love of Christ, we gotta finish part 1 of this investigation today, at least, okay? I don't know if there's a part 2 of investigation or we go straight to trial, but like, we're not getting done what we need to get done. So, I'm going to play by the rules. We're going to get started right away, and I'm going to do something good. I think I've already talked to this woman. Just kidding. No, I didn't. I did not talk to this woman, so we're going to start with that, and we're going to see how it goes. Kuran says, Toby Anatabe, Changeling DJ, Jacob Welsh, Dave Abler. Hi. Welcome to my stream. All right, Madame, talk to me. I can't wait to speak French with you. The Waxworks. Tell me about that. Did you make all these waxworks, Madame Tuspels? Madame Tuspels? I did. I am the third generation of waxwork artisans, you know. Gosh! It was my grandmother who began the tradition in my family. Our fortunes were checkered, living through the turbulent times of the French Revolution, as she did. Though that is when she acquired that savoir-faire that leads to the astonishing lifelikeness. What? Yes. No, I'm doing great. Remember, I've never been hired to do voice. Nobody's ever paid me money to voice act.
Wow! All these waxworks really do look as though they're alive! In fact, they look more alive than Hurley!
What you see exhibited here represents the most atrocious of London's criminal past. All the waxworks were created in the presence of real people on which they were martyred. In the hours immediately following their executions. Right. That is the secret to the extraordinary life-likeness. That sounds rather terrifying. Ryunosuke, why... Is this like something... Were wax figures like not a thing in the past, and this is like revolutionary new technology, and that's why these people are freaked out? Because like, girl, we have wax museums for days all around here. I don't know. I could drive up past Niagara Falls into Canada, go to the Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum, and I think that there's wax people in there. Probably. All walks of life have similar challenges, I am sure. To carry out one's trade per excellence, one must go to extraordinary lengths, no? My exhibits are a reflection of society. I create only that which the public wishes to see. Why couldn't the public have wished for something less horrifying? Tito TJ, hello. Do not fear. I'm sorry? This room is the only one in the museum with such a macabre theme. I do hope you'll explore. There are models of famous singers, actors, politicians. Something for every taste, I hope. It was Iris who dragged me straight in here. You know, come to think of it, this bitch is always dragging me from one place to another. I feel like I'm a glorified babysitter.
Sorry! Perhaps I should have eased you into things.
Right, okay. Why did you employ Hurley? I mean, Herlock? I mean, Mr. Sholmes? What exactly is the situation with that? Oh, my temporary waxwork model. He approached me some days ago, you see, with a business, proposal. Oh, what sort of a proposal? My dear madame, what these sparse exhibits need is the addition of a world-famous detective. A great one. Or words to that effect. Ah, I see.
Naturally, I am well aware that Mr. Sholmes is widely known in London as a, talented detective.
He prefers to call himself a great detective, actually. He's rather specific about it. Johnny Petriello, hello, I am doing quite well today.
Ah, yes, the, creme de la creme, so I was keen to come to some arrangement with him, of course. Oh, but sadly, we were unable to agree on the terms.
Let me guess, someone wanted to charge an exorbitant price for his services. For a mere 500 pounds! I will dive into your cauldron of wax at this very moment.
No, that's not how that works. 500 pounds, I don't know if that's a lot or not.
Based on the time... Based on the time frame of when this takes place in a century or two ago, I would say it's probably a lot.
Or words to that effect.
Mr. Sholmes might have overdone it slightly with the sales pitch.
Regrettably, the museum has a shortage of funds at the moment due to, unforeseen circumstances.
What did you not foresee?
So I came to the current arrangement instead.
Surely he doesn't really need to do what he's doing, though. Does he?
I would think not, but he was very insistent.
Oh, I have a 50 shilling problem. That must be resolved by the morning. Gambling addiction? 50 shillings.
Or words to that effect. It's the pawnbroker. That's what it is. He must have something he needs to redeem.
Oh, that's right. The pawnbrokery. The man who I gently nudged with a little bit of questioning, and he goddamn near offed himself right in front of me, pulled out the fucking gun. It sent me into a trauma, actually. I remember it vividly. Is the consulting detective work not going so well? I don't know. What are we talking about? Madame, I wonder if I could ask you something else while I have your brains.
Oh, bien sure.
That must mean, of course. I'm just curious. Is anything going on in the museum at the moment? Some kind of an incident, perhaps, that's making you broke as shit?
Whoever suggested such a thing to you?
Well, Herlock did, but also you said that unforeseen circumstances are making business slow, which makes me think that business is slow because something Scooby-Doo is happening here. Do you've got like a man in a mask running around scaring away all the tourists? Because that's pretty par for the course for me. It was just that, oh, he's gone. Your temporary wax worker over there, he mentioned to me a little, how you say, oh, he's gone, by the way.
A wax model is a work of art, not some tawdry object for trade.
Huh? Herlock? Yeah. Did you like my impression, Ryu? Who were you impersonating? That doesn't matter!
Leaving the exhibit again when you should be working.
Oh my god, her ponytail! Honey, your hair is long! I was sitting here thinking she had short hair. I thought she had like a cute little bob. No, she's got a full fucking, long hair Rachel going on. Alright, well, let's calm down with the melting. My dear Madame Tussbells, save your reprimands. There are more pressing concerns. The wax can wait. It's our ideas about your current problem we must throw into the melting pots instead. Oh? Personally, I would advise you not to involve the police.
And why ever not?
She's turned as white as a sheet. Because you have at your disposal a great detective, whose services you may employ for a mere 50 shillings. No, please, be aware that I prefer... No! I insist upon payment in advance. Maybe that's how I should start doing my sales pitches for defending clients in a court of law.
Very well.
Oh my god, it works.
Let us see if the great detective is able to live up to his name, shall we?
Before I engage my analytical processes, I must ask you to clarify something. What, pray, is behind the curtain?
That is the Tuspel's special exhibit. There is an extra charge to see it.
Ha! The special exhibit in the House of Horrors. It must depict a serial killer, then, I presume. Would you be so kind as to draw back the curtain? I wonder.
Ah! Well, absolutely no! There is nothing amiss behind there.
Nothing amiss, madame. Girl, do you want me to do my detectiving or not? What about the arm protruding ominously from under the curtain?
Ah! You noticed that?
Well, it stands out quite a bit. I strongly encourage you to allow me to see what lies beyond, before the situation worsens.
Very well. Yes. I will draw back the curtains, but only only a little bit.
Yeah, what she said. I want to talk to Hairbrain again. I must confess, I peeked behind the curtain earlier. The Tuspel special exhibit is a very bleak graveyard scene indeed. Is that number 139? And yet, somewhat surprisingly, the waxwork killer one would expect is nowhere to be seen. What does strike one, however? Oh, is the fat cat? Is the portly gentleman lying peacefully on his back on the floor? Portly, that's what we call them. Portly. Why portly? Well, then perhaps, Mr. Sholmes, that man on the floor is, maybe that's the killer himself. Maybe he fell down. I'm afraid not, my dear fellow. He's perfectly ordinary. A London gentleman. Not even a waxwork, in fact. Wait, what? As skillfully made as these waxworks are, they are always distinguishable from real humans. So, allow me to present my two conclusions. The first is that a sizable business transaction had been taking place in this special exhibit.
Why would you say such a thing?
And the second is that the aforementioned transaction is linked to a serious crime.
Ah!
She looks as pale as candlebacks. All right, we gotta stop bullying white people, okay? Okay?
I do not understand.
So, Madam Tuspels, as you've agreed to my fee, you shall now have the pleasure of seeing that, this famously great detective and temporary exhibit at work. Do you recognize that guy? He's one of the jurors from the previous game. What? No. Well, I need to look at his face again. I was a little distracted by his his portly figure. I wasn't looking at his face. But he looked wealthy. You know, real fat cat. Oh, shit, we're doing it. Great deduction time. Okay, can't wait to see this. Topic number 1, Waxwork's fate. To begin with, we must ask ourselves, what exactly is afoot here in the museum? Here we go, boys. The answer is revealed by the bundles of banknotes protruding so helpfully from your bag. Oh, you dumb bitch. In my estimation, some, 200 pounds.
That is all my own monies.
So what does this large sum of money reveal? Haha! Not as much as the involuntary glance you just cast, it would seem, Madam Tuspels. Yes! The answer lies where your eyes now fall. The significance of the 200 pounds is revealed by that public notice! Waxwork for sale. Your business. It's hit hard times, it would seem. In short, you sold the infamous killer, the centerpiece of your special exhibit, for the sum of 200 pounds.
No!
Now, let us explore the next curiosity with which we are presented. Who is this portly gentleman stretched out so peacefully onto the floor? It would appear that the man suffered a severe shock, the cause of which is clearly known to you, madame. Oh! Unfortunately, madame, keeping secrets does not appear to be your forte. What dealt the man such a shocking blow was, of course, the 200 pounds. It would appear that you twisted this gentleman around your little finger most effectively.
What are you suggesting?
He rashly agreed to purchase the waxwork for the sum of 200 pounds. Only when he came to hand the money over did it occur to him what an extraordinary amount he was paying. But the money was no longer in his hands! And the result? The scene we see before us. He collapsed in shock. Sounds about right to me. I actually believe in corporate greed. Yes, the killer in this special exhibit fetched a killer price. We can only pray that the gentleman's dreams are not plagued with regret. So wait, is he like alive then and just passed out? Or is he dead? I already have one victim. How many victims can I take on in a case? Waxwork location. Okay. The question that arises then is what has become of the waxwork that changed hands? Let us consider that problem for a moment.
You could not possibly.
Oh, I can, and I will. What immediately strikes me about this conundrum is the young man standing over there.
Over there?
Over there. Who is this fellow? To find the answer, we need only observe his neckerchief.
It's an ascot.
An ascot, such as worn by policemen, a secret sign to fellow members of the force that a crime is being perpetrated. Also by Fred Jones, when he's solving a mystery. But it's yellow. Ah, yellow! Clearly he's into the water sports. Yes, that is the handkerchief code. This young man is an undercover policeman, currently investigating this museum, who is also into water sports on his downtime. I know him well, in fact. It's Sergeant John Clay.
What are you talking about? What are sports and you play in the water?
The man's quite a celebrity. Received triple accolades in last year's policing rewards. Oh, nobody would want to know about his private activities.
But,
Next, we turn our attention to the old gentleman sat before him with a particularly unsightly visage. I've been watching closely as he hasn't moved a muscle. Almost, in fact, as if he were a waxwork.
Ah, but you...
Your reaction only confirms my suspicions, madame. I noticed it at once, of course. Observe, he's got a price tag onto his ear, and he's wearing another yellow handkerchief. It seems both of these men took a stream pitting on their pisses on each other. It's the telltale sign that instantly proves whether or not this man is a waxwork. Threepence! A tragically low price, you might say. Though perhaps the going rates for aging waxworks riddled with cracks. And yet you sold it to the portly gentleman for an exorbitant 200 pounds! The sort of plucky behavior that's sure to attract the attention of Scotland Yard. Isn't that so, madame?
I do not.
So are you saying, like, she's running a scam? Yes! The waxwork you sold had already been seized by the police and remains in their custody as we speak. The old man must be reunited with his grave in a special exhibit, and not a moment too soon. Great, I can't wait to spend the next hour of my life working through this. Alright, so I'm sure there's plenty wrong here. Thus concludes Herlock Sholmes' great deduction of this horrifying puzzle. Did you ever find out who was at your door yesterday? No, not yet, but I'm looking into it. I wrote an email. That was a lot, detective. That was a lot. And I know we're gonna have to go through all of it again. I see I've stunned you all into silence. I just don't want to move forward at the moment.
You have, Hurley. You really have. And you're obviously upset this young lady in the process. Her cauldron is looking awfully hot.
If I could just bring up one singular point, Mr. Sholmes. Ah! The notorious Naruhodo 1 point. I'm all ears, my dear fellow. According to your deduction, the special exhibit featured this old policeman. So that would mean that he's the particularly ruthless murderer. Wouldn't it? The killer policeman, Ottermole. Es tut mir leid. It was a mysterious series of murders that rattled the capital only last year. The police rushed to the scene every time only to find the culprit had disappeared into the ether.
And it turned out the culprit was a policeman himself! A senior officer by the name of Ottermole.
So you mean that's who the sinister-looking old man there is supposed to be? He was the mole. Indeed! It is a particularly grim face, is it not? Unforgettable, in fact. Yes, I remember that odious countenance only too well. But is 200 pounds a lot of money for a wax model? It would be enough to afford one of the latest steam carriages if that puts things into perspective. Thank you for teaching me economics. So, it is a lot of money, is what we're gathering. Okay.
Is there anything else you wish to add? Before I melt you down!
Ma'am, let's calm down a little bit.
The smell of all that molten wax is starting to worry me.
Mr. Sholmes did more or less just accuse her, right to her face. So... I think I might have to call on your assistance here, Iris, if that's okay. I need to make some minor corrections to the great detective's great deductions, and I do need to employ the help of my 9-year-old assistant.
Of course it's all right! We'll soon set things straight.
Right, okay, well let's get started then, shall we? Before Madame Tuspels vents her anger. Here we go, boys. Just what I was waiting to hear, my dear fellow! So, Madame Tuspels, in accordance with our agreement, you shall now have the pleasure of seeing this famously great detective and temporary exhibit at work. He's gonna charge her for accusing her? Course correction. Oh god, okay.
I'm 10, by the way, Runo.
Oh, my mistake. Okay. Well, we did just read this, so I hope you guys won't hold it against me if I try to skip over some of these until we get our aha moments, because that's a lot. That's... Stop reusing your dialogue, game! It's cheap. Alright, what does this large sum of money reveal? That she sold, yeah, okay, but hold on, how do I correct? The correction's gotta come up at some point, the public notice. Here we go. Well, she definitely looked in this direction. That much is true.
But I'm not sure she'd sell any of her waxworks, even for 200 pounds.
Uh-oh?
She must pour her heart and soul into making them, don't you think? Over and above the wax. If it were me, I wouldn't sell them for anything.
For that much money, I would. And that's why we're capitalists, Runo. But it sounds like that makes me a bad person. Oh, fuck. That's what makes us capitalists, Runo. Well, anyway, let's move on. I wonder if the 200 pounds could have some other significance.
Let's follow that furtive glance again and see if there's anything else that could explain it.
Okay, can I look at her glance? Whoa! I'm sorry, what is this? This says 200 pounds. Note on the wall.
What's that note doing on the wall pins there?
Oh, yes. I forgot. This is the section of the game where we play Dora the Explorer because nobody ever looks behind a piece of furniture. That's what makes me a great detective. Oh, can I just peek behind this? Can I look at the other side of the teacup? That is why I'm successful. That's probably all it takes to be a great detective. That's probably what everybody's doing wrong. They just don't look behind the furniture. Sorry, let's continue with this. Dear Madame Tuspels, we've taken the prisoner from this room. The price for his safe return is 200 pounds. Ah, it was a wax snapping. Have the money ready by noon on 23rd October.
What?
It's just like the sort of thing that's left behind when someone is kidnapped.
It's a ransom note!
A wax snapping. Say the word. Exactly. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Present it? Haha! The significance of the 200 pounds is revealed by that ransom note. Quite so! And we must congratulate these criminals on their inventiveness, abducting a waxwork. 200 pounds is no small ransom fee. Yet you clearly intend to pay it.
The model in question has a special importance, so I put together all of the money I have.
In summary then, The 200 pounds you have in your handbag is ransom money. Now, let us explore the next curiosity with which we are presented. Who is the portly gentleman stretched out so peacefully on the floor? I hate to interrupt. I can't help but forget that I have a client who's going to trial tomorrow for a case about, like, beaming some guy through a crystal tower and exploding his body in the process. I'm supposed to be investigating that. Listen, I get it. I'm sure through some convoluted means it's all gonna come together and these are gonna be related, but I feel like we are so distracted off the main plot. I feel like we've side quested into a whole nother game at this point. I don't think this is how I'm supposed to be spending my time. Well, that's great, Ryunosuke. Now, I'm going to continue talking. Oh, okay. It would appear the man has suffered a severe shock, the cause of which is clearly known to you. Unfortunately, Madame... All right, this is all the same. Okay, same. Yeah, sir, shocking blow, 200 pounds. So, if the waxwork was kidnapped, where does that leave us in terms of who this man is?
We could just ask him when he comes around.
Okay, so he is alive. I think the point of this exercise is to understand the beauty of the deduction process.
Oh yeah, you're right. Hurley's trying so hard, we shouldn't let him down.
Well, there's little doubt that he suffered a shock. That much seems clear. But in that case, what's Madame Tussbell's trying to hide? She fucking doinked him on the head, stole his money for the ransom. That's what happened. Let's have a closer look around. Alright, can I look in your bag, madam? Oh. What are you hiding back here?
This is just Madame Tussbell's right hand, isn't it?
Yeah, it must be. I can clearly see her left hand after all.
But wait a minute. This is a left hand as well, look!
She doinked him with a wax hand! That's what she's holding behind her back, it's her weapon! Don't say such creepy things, Iris, please.
And it seems very stiff, too. In fact, it's really hard.
You mean... it's made of wax? Waxwork hands. Alright, that's what she's hiding. Alright.
Take that!
Show it off. You beat him over the head, didn't you? You knocked him out and you stole his money. That's what happened. I can't snap very effectively. There it is. What dealt the man with such a shocking blow was, of course, the waxwork hand. Indeed! With a solid waxwork limb, one could deliver a very substantial blow.
How could you?
The hand protruding from the bottom of your cape. It ought to be a right hand, but closer inspection reveals that it is, in fact, a left hand. And it's rather masculine as well. In other words, it does not belong to you, madame. It is the hand of a waxwork model.
What?
Ooh, girl, honey, my god, it's big. Damn.
Some of the visitors to my museum can be troublesome. They meddle with the exhibits and cause damage.
So what, you use that as your security baton?
Yes, this gentleman saw fit to try to remove it as a souvenir.
What? No small keepsake. Like taking a whole branch of a cherry tree when you go to view the blossoms.
I am afraid I had to teach the man a lesson.
You confronted the man and tried to take the arm back. And the result? The scene we see before us. He was knocked unconscious. A point we may need to revisit later. But for the time being, we have our conclusion. Yes, the killer in this special exhibit has been kidnapped.
I've been using the term wax snapped, and I'm hoping that it'll catch on.
Kidnapped.
Wax snapped.
I feel like I'm trying to make fetch happen right now. The question that arises then is what has become of the waxwork that changed hands? Let us consider the problem for a moment.
You cannot possibly.
Oh, but I will. What immediately strikes me about this conundrum is the young man standing over there. Who is this fellow? To find the answer, we need only observe his neckerchief. All right, this is all the same. Okay. According to Mr. Sholmes, the yellow neckerchief is a sign to other policemen that this man likes to get pissed on.
It's a way of communicating with his colleagues without revealing his kinks.
Iris, you are not supposed to know what the word kink means.
Bruno, I'm a genius.
Shut the well... Okay, let's move past it.
It's a secret that's closely guarded by Scotland Yard.
That Mr. Sholmes didn't hesitate to give away.
Well, uncovering secrets is a true detective's nature, of course.
Right. Anyway, judging from Madame Tuspel's reaction to Mr. Sholmes' deduction, I think that we might not have identified this man quite correctly.
You mean he's not into piss play?
I don't know if that's the case. Oh, he lost his arm. What the hell? The man has a stub sticking out of his right shoulder where his arm should be.
Well, that settles that then.
Right. This isn't a real person at all. Did we think that it was?
His entire arm's been ripped off from the shoulder down.
I didn't know that's where Sholmes was going. I thought we very clearly knew this to be a wax figure. Was this not supposed to be... Was I supposed to believe that these were real people and not one of the exhibits? You guys did not make that very clear to me. I'm sorry. Okay, well, no, he's made of wax. He's not real. I thought we all knew this already, but... My God. The man has a nub sticking out of his arm. Very much clearly not a real human person. And I'm supposed to suspend my disbelief to say that in this world that these characters live in, Herlock Sholmes didn't notice that? We are playing Dora the motherfucking Explorer. My God. Who is this fellow? To find the answer, we need only observe his shoulder stub. No such boneless human walks on this earth. Of that I can assure you. Well, that's not true. We do have humans that walk this earth who don't have their arms. In other words, the man standing here, the young Sergeant John Clay, is in fact, defying all odds, a waxwork model. Right. Great deduction. I seem to remember it was you who concluded he was a real person in the first place. That notion is so ridiculous, it flew over my own brain. My brain was not able to dumb itself down enough to understand that we were concluding that these were real people that were sitting in front of us. I thought this was one of the wax exhibits. What? Oh my God. Okay, well, I'm glad we cleared it up. He has become quite a celebrity in London.
Being the winner of no less than 3 policing awards last year, I simply had to make a model of the man.
Naturally! What other explanation could there be? And it was this detective's arm that was pulled off by the man on the floor in the special exhibit, wasn't it? Next, we turn our attention to the old man. Right, alright, you also thought he was real too. Okay. As if he were a waxwork, but we're saying that he's not. But your reaction only confirms my suspicions. Are we about to determine that this man's actually real? Because that's gonna... that's gonna be ridiculous. Alright, what's... Price tag. Yes. Okay. A killer policeman called Ottermole, was it? Was he well known?
It was all over the papers last year. But I can't say I know what he looks like. It's a very low price, though. Threepence isn't much money.
Is the price tag the price of the fucking scarf on this man's neck? Only enough for a few measly hours of gas in Mr. Garrideb's delightful lodgings, in fact. So, this is the special killer taken from the special exhibit, is it? The waxwork that somebody stole from the museum and tried to ransom for 200 pounds. Is this crusty old killer policeman Ottermole? Really? Alright, so no. We're about to conclude that this man's actually really just like a sleeping security guard or some shit.
Perhaps we should have a good look around again and see if there's any other idea. Because nobody ever looks at anything.
Right, nobody... Yep! He's alive as shit.
Take that!
We're just gonna go straight fucking to it. Alright? This man's alive, the other man's fake. Oh my God. The telltale sign that instantly proves whether or not this old man is a waxwork is the obvious twitch in his leg. Even the most realistic waxworks do not exhibit a twitch. Well, also, again, not entirely true, because you can program, like, robotics in waxwork models, and, like, you can design wax over, like, robotic you can make animatronic wax figures, I think. Probably. In other words, this splendid old man is in fact a genuine member of Scotland Yard. Right. I'm so glad that I'm wasting all of my time when I should be helping my client, helping you determine who is a real person and who is a figure of wax. Great use of my time. And there you have it. Well, Madam Tuspels.
Well, what? It was me who contacted the police and demanded that someone come in the first place.
He's clearly fatigued.
He is sound asleep.
But then, what's this tag about showing a price of 3 pence? No doubt's the price tag of the muffler, which the old Bobby purchased recently at a local market. Oh, it all comes back to the muffler. Hey, I learned that some people call scarves mufflers because one woman stuck a muffler in a muffler and it caused a whole mess for me in the past. You guys probably know that. And I presume you observed the scarf tied around his arm. Does that not strike you, Mr. Naruhodo? The piss place scarf? I mean, it's also a secret sign used by detectives to show that some sort of criminal activity is currently underway.
Of course, because as you know, there has been just such criminal activity happening here. As you deduced from the very beginning, Detective.
So, it would seem that we finally arrived at the truth. The waxwork of the especially ruthless killer from the special exhibit has been kidnapped. Alright. Yes, I am enjoying the second game of this series more than the first. But also, yes, I still absolutely hate these great detective deduction segments. I don't think that they're necessary. Okay, nobody's knocking on my door this time, but somebody somewhere nearby is screaming bloody murder. Did you guys hear that? If it happens again, I'll investigate. And Scotland Yard are already investigating. Great. But the model's whereabouts, they still remain a mystery. Thus concludes Sherlock Holmes' great deduction of this horrifying puzzle. Well, at least we made it through. God bless. We've done it. Alright. And you guys are all warning me that it only gets more ridiculous from here.
All sorts of people visit my museum here. Men and women, young and old. Sometimes they drop in for just a short time on their way back from the pub. I welcome all.
Okay. I'm gonna take a quick peek out my window, because what was that? Hold the phone. I'm gonna do it privately. Okay, so, do you guys want the tea I don't really have much for you, but this reminded me of something else. There's people fighting out in the street. What are they fighting about? I don't know. They're outside. They're screaming at each other. Don't know what the deal is. But this last night, late last night, trying to ignore them. Late last night, I was going out for a hookup with a boy, as I sometimes do, because I'm a single gay man who's no longer in his 20s. But, you know, we do these things. Anyways, so I'm walking out to my car, and I'm walking out on the street. There was a man who I don't know if he was piss-ass drunk, or if he was high, or if he was having a mental health crisis. He's standing in the road, and at first I'm just like, oh, it's just a man standing. But as I'm getting closer, pants down his legs. I'm looking at this man's bare fucking ass, and I don't know if he's like stroking it or if he's facing away from me. So I don't know if he's taking a piss. I don't know if he's like jerking off, but he's standing in the sidewalk in the middle of the public street, and it's dark, and I see that like the bare ass cheeks are just in my face, and I'm like, something's not right here. He's all by himself, just randomly in the middle of the sidewalk, naked from the waist down. So I cut across the street because I don't want to walk too close to this guy. And then he does start walking, still with his pants around his legs, and he's staggered as shit. He's like he's doing the drunky monkey walk, you know. It's like take a step forward, take like 2 or 3 steps back, and I just like there's too much that is happening in the streets around my apartment. I think I need to move to a different neighborhood. I don't know. There's a lot of like overstimulation and just people that seem like they're either on drugs or fighting. The memorial is outside because, as I told you guys, like earlier this year or last year, a man was shot outside of my apartment. There's too much going on outside of these walls, and like I think it might be time to leave. So we might. I love this apartment. I really, really, really love this apartment, but I am not in the best neighborhood. Let's call a spade a spade. Okay, sorry. I'm gonna continue to focus. I did say I have to get through this investigation today.
But if anyone tries to damage my exhibits, I do not take it lightly. Anyway.
Oh, girl? Okay, a little twirl, a little this, a little that. What you got for me?
Your great deduction was even more enchanting than I could have been led to believe.
Girl, you could have just told us what happened. I'm so confused why we're wasting our time with this. It was a pleasure, my dear madame. I'm gratified that you enjoyed the spectacle. And as for your rough customer, I've no doubt he'll regain consciousness shortly and return home. What concerns me more is the waxwork from the special display. If it was indeed genuinely abducted... What?
Yes, tragically, it was.
Then I would ask you to recount to us the events surrounding the stolen waxwork, in as much detail as possible, if you please. Do you guys hear that? They're playing music now. Maybe they've made up.
Very well. But after I have told you what I know, I must insist that you return to your work.
The talents of a great detective could be put to better use, I feel, but as you wish. What in God's name are these folks doing out here? I'm overstimulated. I apologize. Alright, so what? Now I've got to talk to this girl again? Alright. Am I playing this game too slowly, or was this investigation, like, much longer than everything else we've done so far? Maybe it's because I'm doing 2 investigations in one day. The stolen waxwork. Because I'm still investigating this woman's stolen waxwork. Why? Oh my god. I know how it's going to connect. Stolen waxwork, wax figurines that get mistaken for real people. Through some weird nonsense, Professor Hairbrain didn't kill what's his name because we got to get him off the hook. I bet he fucking curmudgeonly exploded a wax person that then, you know, disintegrated or melted into wax that left behind no trace of body parts or something like that. I haven't figured out all the details, but some version of what I just said that makes a lot more sense will be the answer. You're following my logic a little bit, right? Could you tell us more about the stolen waxwork, please?
It was some days ago now, when I came in here one morning. I immediately noticed that a waxwork was missing from the special exhibit area. It is your most prominent display, so that's why the curtains were closed. And I found the ransom note in its place.
The culprit must have broken in during the night and taken it then.
So, this waxwork that was stolen, it was a model of some horrible criminal, I suppose? Of a particularly horrible criminal, in fact. The killer who left a more profound scar on society than any other, I would say. The Professor.
Like, of the Powerpuff Girls? What? Not a name I've heard of. I'm sorry, elaborate. So, Mr. Naruhodo, it seems the circle is complete. She made a wax figure of Professor Hairbrain? Is that the circle completed? Professor Hairbrain's crime was literally just committed. She couldn't have made a wax figure of him that fast. I'm sorry?
The Professor case happened at around the time I was born, didn't it?
Oh, no, not Professor Hairbrain then. Indeed it did, Iris. 10 years ago, a series of murders that rocked the capital. 10 years ago? Yes, at exactly the time. That Barak von Zeeks graduated from university, in fact. They gasp! Tell me more. Yes, I think we all agree that the Powerpuff Girls professor was hot. Travis is online. I don't know who that is. I went through a period of time where I used to add random people when I gave out my Switch code on the internet. Now I'm friends with some of them, but I don't know who they are. Surely he's not saying...
So the big event that changed Mr. Reaper's life
was the professor? As you've surmised, it was the professor case. So who was the professor? The professor. Can I get a picture of him? Was he hot?
It was a series of gruesome murders that had all of London gripped in terror a decade ago. After 5 victims were killed, the man was arrested and put to that death.
And now, he's immortalized here in wax for all Londoners to admire and enjoy. Though, of course, he happens to be absent at present on account of the whole wax snapping. Ah, yes, it's catching on. But I don't understand. How is this all related to Lord Von Zeeks? The professor's his dad. The professor's his dad. The professor's his dad. Is that what it is? You must first understand, my dear fellow, why it is that the professor earned such infamy. It was due to the victims he chose. Some of Whitehall's finest. The professor murdered his dad. Or his lover. I guess I should mention, throughout all these investigations, they all lead up to the end game. So they are long, but some of it is necessary. The investigation I don't mind, but specifically, I think the gameplay of the Hurlock deduction thing, so far, every single Hurlock deduction that I've done in both games has kind of been him doing a super long-winded speech of bullshit information, and then me being like, wait a second, turn the furniture around, oh look, there's the real clue, and then I get a really long-winded explanation that's almost the same, except they switch out the wrong parts for the, like, it just feels like stupid artificial bloating. Like, I would rather just do the regular Ace Attorney investigation thing myself, where I investigate the crime scene, I find the things, and then I get the information. So, like, it feels artificially slowed down, bloated, and, like, kind of silly and obnoxious to do it through Herlock Sholmes, so I don't love his gameplay mechanic. I do find him to be a pretty enjoyable character, but that's just where I stand on that.
What do you mean, Hurley?
Those murdered by the professor were some of the highest members of the British aristocracy. Members of the nobility, even royalty. It sent shockwave through the country's administration. Members of the... Oh, wait! Of course! What Professor Harebrain said. Lord von Zieks is from a family with noble blood.
Oh, gosh!
It was the 5th victim that led to the professor's arrest. The last of the killer's prey was a young noble by the name of... Clint von Zieks. Ooh, Clint. That is such a hot name. I'm sorry. Clint von Zieks. Oh, no. I don't believe it. That must be his dad. I'm sure you can piece together the rest for yourself. In the wake of his older brother's... Damn it! It was a brother! I was so close. So close to predicting it. Except so wrong. But you know what? A brother is even hotter. I'm okay with that. The young Barak pursued a career as a prosecutor. And eventually became the Reaper we know today. Alright. That's fair. I had no idea Lord von Zieks had such a tragic past. Well, I'm afraid that's all I can say on the matter. For the time being, at least. After all, I have work to do. Of course you do. Standing still? Has a waxwork exhibit, of course. I do agree, we don't need the first home segment of the Great Deductions. Like, just have them both together and do the deduction from the beginning, and the player can correct them as they go along. That would also help, too. Like, if that would actually help a lot. If I could do the corrections during the deduction, having you repeat it twice is super obnoxious, I think.
I am afraid I shall have to excuse myself as well.
Oh, yes, of course. It's been a pleasure, thank you. Hell yeah. Well, none of the predicted scenarios I'd been analyzing involved you coming to visit me here. Wait, what? Who am I talking to? Who's talking to me? Oh, Daddy! I mean Lord von Zieks. It's good to see you.
Oh, it's been too long, it really has. I'm delighted to see you, Barak.
It's been 10 years, and here we are meeting in prison of all places.
I can't forgive myself for what happened to Mr. Assman. I just can't. I still can't believe it could happen.
Tomorrow, the court will decide.
Yes! I have young Eastern man acting as my defense. He seems reliable enough. It was an accident. A terrible accident. He assures me that he can prove it.
I must warn you.
Oh, I know. I've heard already you're going to be prosecuting, aren't you?
Yes.
Since I returned to England, I've heard lots of stories. Barak, are you really?
Really what?
Never mind. I know that you have my best interests at heart.
Boyfriends, maybe? They'd be a cute couple. Like, a very odd couple, but, like, odd in a cute way. My friend is on trial. His friend. I wouldn't entrust it to anybody else.
Of course. I fully understand. Dankeschön, Barak.
Until tomorrow, then. I'll see you in court.
Auf Wiedersehen! Okay, and that's that. We've hit our to be continued. Great. How am I going to defend this man? I don't know, because instead of looking for evidence to help him, I spent my day helping Hurlock in a wax museum. So I feel a little underprepared if we're about to go to trial. Is that what's next? Investigation part 1. Yep, that is what's next. We're going to trial. Trial part 1. Okay, well. This does feel like a good stopping point. I don't feel like starting a trial for like 10 minutes and then cutting it weirdly in the middle. So what if we just call it a day today, and I will get myself braced and ready for trial. I at least finished part 1 of the investigation. It may have taken 3 days, but we got there. And now you're going to wait another 3 days. Because I will not be at stream tomorrow, most likely. Unless things change, I have a birthday dinner to attend tomorrow, and I believe it's going to run into stream time, so I don't think I'm going to make it to stream. And then it's the weekend. So, and then for the weekend, I might be going out of town also, because I might be going to either New York City or Chicago or Toronto, or I might go nowhere. I might stay here. We'll see how ambitious I'm feeling. So with all of that being said, I will be here Monday, ready for court, but also not ready because I have no idea what the fuck I'm supposed to do in court. But we'll probably go... When do I ever? Most of court in this game is bluffing, so it'll be fine. It'll probably be fine. If you could leave a like on the stream, the engagement is super helpful. Thank you for spending your week with me, and I will see you boys for court Monday evening at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Be there, all right? Okay, toodles, bye.